Hey there, this is Hoyoverse, or MiHoYo if you time traveled from 2020. They released this game called Genshin Impact back in 2020, you may have heard of it, and made billions of dollars in revenue. And do you know what game companies love most? More money. So they launched another game and slapped the Honkai brand right on it, Honkai Star Rail. A lot has happened since then. In Honkai Star Rail, you get to play as one of the Trailblazers. Here is a list of all the stuff the Trailblazer has done in the story. Be it a space dragon capable of mass destruction, participate in a somewhat morally and legally questionable experiment, got a power-up after getting stabbed, beat up a single mother and basically overthrew the current leader of the planet, capture a wanted space criminal, smacked Rudolph in the head with the galaxy baseball bat, beat up a little kid who is definitely under 10 years old, got hard carried by Dong Heng and Jing Yuan, practically saved multiple dying businesses, did some tax evasion, became the king of games, formed a Ghostbuster squad, and became caretaker for dozens of abandoned kids. So, how did we get here? If you're like me with goldfish memories who can't remember much of the story plot other than the Cocolia fight, then this video is for you. This is the perfect time to do a recap of the story of Honkai Star Rail from version 1.0 to 1.6, since 2.0 is approaching. But, just the main plot. I won't be covering any of the minor details. Seriously, do you really care about what happens in Luca's companion quest? Matter of fact, does anyone actually use Luca? This story does not take place on a space rock that we're familiar with called Earth. Instead, in a galaxy far, far away, you, as the player, get to choose who to play as. But let's be honest, Stell is clearly the superior choice. After being abandoned by Kafka and the Gamer Girl, we meet several members of the Astral Express. The quiet one with a sad backstory, the hyperactive one with a mysterious backstory, the old and wise one with a family that he abandoned in another universe, the one that everyone fawns over who technically is the leader slash navigator of the group, and the mascot who may or may not be the manifestation of Akavili, the Eon of Friendship or something like that. But before all of that, the tutorial has you defending the Herta space station, which was under the attack of the Antimatter Legion, goons of the Eon of Destruction Nanook. This marks the start of your career as the Galaxy Batter. The Galaxy Batter. Every swing is rated E for everyone. After the fight with the Space Dragon, you wake up to get info dumped on by Herta and an invitation to officially join the Astral Express. There is a secret ending which you reject Himeko's offer, but like everybody dies there, so now you know how important you really are to the story. First stop, Jarilo 6, Belobog. The Astral Express crew stops at this planet because of an interference caused by a Stellaron. Before they can do their magical lightspeed traveling sci-fi stuff, they must take care of the Stellaron's interference. So they sent in the B team, featuring the youngsters Dong Heng, March 7th, and you, the Trailblazer. The first few people you meet are the conman Sampo and Captain of the Silvermane Guards, Japard. From Japard, you learn that 700 years ago, monsters from the Anti-Legion suddenly appeared and started causing chaos everywhere. The planet began to freeze, making the lands almost inhabitable. The only location standing in present time is Belobog, currently led by their Supreme Guardian, Cocolia. The B team meets Cocolia for the first time, and you know she's sus from the first meeting. But damn it, most of us would have pulled for her if she was a playable character. Cocolia offers to help the team the next day, so you spend the remaining day exploring around the city. The team stumbles into a mechanic shop and meets Saval, who seems to have some ties with Cocolia. The next day, a bunch of Silvermane guards led by Bronya and Pella comes to arrest the gang. March 7th tried to talk no jutsu her way out of this, but she was as useful as pouring water into a grease fire. Things escalated, the team ran, the soldiers chased, and after a few games of hide and seek, the team got knocked out and rescued by Sampo. He brought the team and Bronya, for whatever reason, to the Underworld, a city beneath Belobog with much worse living conditions. Bronya basically switched teams after seeing the underground suffering in 4K 120 FPS. Robot Daddy doesn't believe the team can change the fate of the planet. He's saying that the Trailblazers don't got that dog in them. It's not like the Trailblazer beat up a literal space dragon with a baseball bat. The Astral Express B team had to use their 100% success rate strategy called Violence is an Option. Oh, spoiler alert, this will not be the last time the strategy is used. After they beat some ones and zeros into Robot Daddy, he is now on your side. After returning to the surface, Bronya goes off to confront Cocolia. while the rest of the group wave their fists and shout, "You got this." Basically, you just watch a new ally walk into the headquarters of the bad guy. But I'm sure she'll be fine. With Serval's help, the B team makes it to the restricted zone where the Celeron is most likely being stored. There are memory fragments scattered around that reveal Cocolia has truly lost her marbles, and her plan is to let the Celeron destroy the planets to remake it anew, which kinda raises a bunch of red flags, but maybe Cocolia saw something that everybody else didn't. After the team regroups and confronts Cocolia, a battle begins to decide the fate of the planet. At least they're not playing a children's card game to decide the fate of the planet. Can you imagine Estelle pulls out the Ojama deck to duel Cocolia and winner takes all? Anyways, the fight gets messy and you get stabbed through the chest. I'll just let this mini montage explain the rest of the battle.
We made a choice, go fight against your fate. We will come with the blade. We will wake up the despondent crowd, storming worlds somehow. I sheathe the sword not to kill. I sheathe the sword to...
After essentially overthrowing the current ruler of Belobog, the Astral Express just leaves and moves on to the next stop, Shinzo Luofu. Hey there, before I move on to Luofu, consider giving this video a thumbs up and comment below on which part of the main story you like the most. Kafka jumps out of a vent, scaring everyone on the express. Pom Pom is the only smart one here, hiding behind the strongest member, Welt. She morally forces the Astral Buddies to go to Luofu to help with the recent Celeron issue. So begins the start of a new expedition to save another planet. This team consists of the Hyperactive Girl, March 7th, too old for this, Uncle Welt, and you, the Trailblazer. I'll call this group the A-Team. Upon entering Luofu, the team encounters several monsters surrounding a helpless girl, Tingyun, who is a foxy and working for the Skyfaring Commission. These monsters are referred to as Marastruck. There's like a whole thesis paper on what Marastruck is, but long story short, just think of it as some type of curse that turns people into mindless creatures. Tingyun brings the A-Team to meet with her superior, Yukong, who declines the A-Team's help to deal with the Celeron, despite the fact that the Astral Express are essentially the professionals when it comes to dealing with Celerons. When you have a Celeron problem, you know who to call. But hey, at least Yukong didn't try to Cocolia the team. Well, actually she did try to pull a fast one, but Jing Yuan shows up and gives the team a new quest to help capture Kafka. The A-Team begrudgingly accepts and manages to catch up to Kafka with the help of the cutest thing in the game, D-Ting. The A-Team did all the work and Fu Xuan shows up to KS. She did have one of the best entrance scenes, so all is forgiven. Fu Xuan needs time to set up her magical interrogation light show, so the A-Team explores around Luofu meeting Bailu. I honestly don't know why I included this part because she never shows up again in the main story. This is kind of a common theme in the Luofu. Here's a list of all the other characters that shows up and never do anything again. QQ, Sushang, Shuiyi. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Astral Express, Dan Heng is having nightmares. It was hinted that his past had something to do with Luofu, and that is why he didn't want to join the A-Team earlier. Dan Heng is worried about his friend's safety, so he decides to sneak into Luofu. Along the way, he meets Sushang, a knight in training, and Luo Cha, a traveling merchant, who is definitely not raising anyone's sus meter. During the interrogation, Kafka reveals that her goal was to get the Astral Express to ally with the Luofu, and the Celeron in Luofu has nothing to do with the Celeron hunters. Kafka breaks free and a huge golden deer appears. The deer seems to be unkillable, being able to regenerate constantly, but in true gaming logic, just beat it up a few more times and it'll work. Rudolph ultimately gets a full course meal from the Galactic Bats and the problem is solved, after doing some puzzles or something like that. From here, the story drags on for a bit, and by that I mean side quest time for Danshu, who turns out to be one of the traders in Luofu. Danshu gets a glow up, but it doesn't matter how she looks, because nobody is safe when the Galactic Bat is around. Danshu cries for help, and the camera pans over to Tingyun. She does that villain walk with a smug smile on her face. She reveals herself to be Fantilia, one of the 7 lords of the Antimatter Legion. Basically, she is like the appetizer before the final boss in a JRPG game. So what is she doing here in the beginner's village? Her goal is to destroy Luofu from within, because she thinks it's funnier that way. Pantilia leaves and is aiming for a piece of relic within the Scale Gorge waterscape. The scene changes back to our boy Daniel, who is on his way to the Scale Gorge waterscape. He runs into Blade and they fight for a bit before Yanqing shows up, and somehow it went from a 1v1 to a 2v1. Little bro Yanqing really thought he got that dog in him. He doesn't. Daniel gets stabbed and receives a power-up, revealing his true form of Imbibe de Lune. Kafka stops the fight before it gets too serious, and they run away like Scooby-Doo villains. Jin Yuan shows up to clean up the mess and asks Dan Heng for his help in exchange for removing Dan Heng's exile sentence. Everything after that is just one big boss fight, so here's a quick montage. It turns out that the one responsible for the Celeron in Luofu was actually Luo Che, the merchant from earlier. Remember him? Oh, and he's working with Jin Yuan's master, Jin Liu. Their goal? To kill the Eon of Abundance. The Astral Express becomes the heroes who saved Luofu. They held a funeral of some kind and blasted Tengyun's belongings into space. The IPC makes contact with Belobog, asking them to repay their debts. The Trailblazer saves another dying business. The Trailblazer forms a ghost hunting squad with the girls. Literally anything but Penacony for several months. But hey, in case you're bored, there are like 10 companion quests to do here, so have fun. Well, that should be everything. I will see you in 2.0. Thanks for watching and bye bye.